In this problem, we're given two equations, f of x and g of x, and we're asked to find two different problems here. The first problem we're supposed to solve is f of 5 plus g of 5, which can be thought of actually as two different steps. The first step is to find f of 5, which will give us a number. The second step will be to find g of 5, which will give us a number. Then what we're supposed to do is take those two numbers that we found and add them together. So I'm going to start by finding f of 5. F of 5, if you line the question up with the given information, makes it more clear that what's happening is we're supposed to replace x with 5. So what I need to do is to do that for every x in the equation. So instead of negative 2 times x, I'll have negative 2 times 5, and then the function adds 1. If you simplify this correctly, negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. Add 1, you'd get negative 9. I think of it as I'm making a substitution. Now I have a statement that says f of 5 is equal to negative 9, so I can swap these symbols with the number negative 9. So where I see f of 5, I'm going to write negative 9. Now I need to add to that whatever I get when I do the second part of the problem, which is g of 5. G of 5 is done in the same way, except g is given by a different function rule. So when I go to do g of 5, I'm still replacing x with 5, but it's simply a different equation. So when I plug it in, I get 5 squared. Then I'll get plus 3 times 5, and then don't forget that there's a subtract 2 in the equation. So that's 3 times 5, and then subtract 2. Let me simplify this. 5 squared means 5 times 5, which is 25. 3 times 5 is 15. Don't forget to subtract 2. If you do this correctly, 25 and 15 is 40. 40 subtract 2 is 38. So what I get out of all this is that g of 5, after all that, came out to be equal to this, and then subsequently equal to 38. So again, I'm going to take these symbols and replace them with these symbols, which of course is the number 38. So g of 5 is 38. I'm not done yet. Negative 9 and 38 makes 29, so my final answer will be 29. It's important to always write your final answer with the original question so people know what your answer is. This is the answer to this question up here, f of 5 plus g of 5. I'm going to have to clear the board a little bit to give myself more room to write, to do g of negative 4, subtract f of minus 4. So let me just clear this out because it seems to get in the way. G of negative 4 subtract f of negative 4 is going to be done almost in the same way, except in the end I have to subtract, but it's still important to think of it as two separate problems altogether. My first job is to find g of negative 4, that'll be some number, then find f of minus 4, that'll be some number, and when I'm done I'll have to subtract the results. So I'm going to start the same way. I'm going to start by saying I need to find g of negative 4. And if you line the question up with the given information, that means wherever I see an x, I need to replace it with negative 4. In this case, it's important to put parentheses in that first x value. So when I do this, I'm going to write negative 4 is being squared. The whole idea of the equation is that it says whatever the input is, the entire thing gets squared. Not just the number, but also the sign. So if you put this in your calculator without parentheses, you wouldn't get the proper answer, which is 16. You could try it. You'd be surprised. Without parentheses, it actually gives you negative 16. Here I have 3 times x, which in this case I'm replacing x with negative 4 again. And then I have the subtract 2. Simplifying this down, a negative 4 squared means negative 4 times negative 4, which is positive 16. 3 times negative 4 is a negative 12. So adding a negative 12 is like subtract 12. And you have the minus 2. So I get 16 minus 12 is 4. This would be 4. 4 subtract 2 is 2. So I get that after all of that, the question g of negative 4 gives you the result that it's equal to positive 2. So again, where I see this notation g of minus 4, I replace it with positive 2. Then I need to find f of minus 4. F of negative 4 is done the same way as g, except it's just simply a different function rule again. It's up here. So if I put the question right underneath the given information, it's clear that x is being replaced with minus 4. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to write negative 2 times negative 4. And then the function says that I need to add 1 at the end, so I will. Simplify the result. This is equal to, let's see, negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 4 is 8. Don't forget you have the 1 there. 8 plus 1 is 9. So I get that f of negative 4 is 9. So I'm going to replace this notation f of negative 4 with 9. Don't forget that I'm supposed to take my two results, this and this, which is my 2 and my 9, and subtract them. 2, take away 9, is negative 7. So my final answer to this problem would be negative 7. I'm going to circle it to indicate that negative 7 is the answer to this question. G of negative 4 subtract f of negative 4 gives me negative 7.